Good evening and warm welcome to the State of Business on Not Television. I'm Chamod Fernando. Let's have a look at the headlines. Country assessment on anti-money laundering and countering the finance of terrorism to begin soon, President says. Single-digit inflation in July, Central Bank Governor assents. Now the news in detail. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that Sri Lanka's next country assessment on anti-money laundering and countering the finance of terrorism will commence soon. The president said this addressing the National Law Conference on Saturday in Norelia. The assessment, which is slated to commence soon, holds immense significance as it directly impacts the country's ease of doing business rating and its ability to attract foreign investments. It is imperative for Sri Lanka to prioritize bridging these gaps, which will also support the governance and anti-corruption framework, ensuring the successful implementation of the International Monetary Fund program. During the discussions, various issues have come to light. One major concern is the bureaucratic hurdles and legal complexities faced by the citizens. It was revealed that the current administrative structure and an excess of legal professionals hinder the timely completion of projects. A recommendation was made for all stakeholders, including the bench, the bar, the government and the parliament, to convene and compile a joint report. It was emphasized that the formulation of a national policy determined by Parliament is essential to resolve various issues and ensure broad agreement on critical subjects.
Sri Lanka's next country assessment on anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism will commence soon. Sri Lanka's compliance in this area is a vital prerequisite in enhancing the ease of doing business rating and attracting foreign investments. It is necessary for Sri Lanka to address the gaps identified in our anti-money laundering and countering the finance of terrorism framework. Not addressing the gaps will have a potential risk of Sri Lanka being again identified as a country with strategic deficiencies. This should cause severe adverse impact to the economic development of the country. Addressing the gaps will support the government and anti-corruption framework, thus ensuring the successful implementation of the IMF program.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe says that the current declining inflation trend will continue and the inflation rate will come to a single digit by the end of July this year. The Central Bank Governor said this recently at a press conference held in Colombo. The governor said that even the IMF had not predicted that the local inflation would reduce at such a fast pace. The governor said that the lowering of inflation was a result of several policies that were taken along with the lowering of fuel charges and appreciation of the rupee. He said that the current imported and local food prices will further reduce when the importers start paying under the new dollar amount and when the local supply chains settle down. Dr. Veerasinghe also said that with other economic fundamentals falling into place, the interest rate too would come down and the local banking sector must pass out this benefit to their customers. He said that he expects the local banking officials to reduce the current high interest rates stamped on credit cards. Meanwhile, the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka reduced the standing deposit facility rate and the standing lending facility rate of the central bank by 250 basis points to 13% and 14% respectively. The Export Development Board and Shipbuilding Advisory Committee has emphasized the importance of developing a strategy for the nautical tourism industry in Sri Lanka. The country's strategic location and the high marine diversity were pointed out as potential areas that can be utilized for this purpose at the 7th annual meeting of the Advisory Council held recently. The advisory committee members pointed out the development of the nautical tourism would provide the opportunities to showcase the capabilities of local boat builders. The other major points discussed at the meeting were the development of marina infrastructure, reforming the national export strategy and organizing the upcoming Sri Lanka Boat Show in October 2023. The committee also discussed the implementation of the activities recommended under the EDB Action Plan. Furthermore, the committee also emphasized the significance of developing infrastructure facilities for the boat building industry. Members also reviewed the progress of the ongoing projects of establishing breakwater at Kaparathota and establishing launching pads at Peruvala, Negombo and Valley-Pathanvilla. EDB Chairman Dr. Kingsley Bernard stated that the private and public sector involvement in advisory committees is expected to provide an environment to formulate mutually acceptable proposals, thereby enabling their efficient implementation. The boat and shipbuild industry has been identified as a sector which could contribute significantly to raise the level of overall export performance of the country. Stay tuned. We will return after this commercial break.
IWS Aviation.
Welcome back. Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka President Sanjay Bandara said that as a responsible professional body that it must help the country recover from the recession. The CA Sri Lanka President said this at the inaugural business forum Reignite Sri Lanka 2023, which was held in Melbourne, Australia last week. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka organised the first ever business forum in Melbourne, along with its Australian chapter and the Consulate General of Sri Lanka. The forum aimed at fostering collaboration and improving trade and investment between Australia and Sri Lanka and promoting Sri Lanka as a preferred tourist destination. The event was attended by senior representatives of over 75 Australian businesses, as well as head of professional bodies, dignitaries including diplomats and representatives from the media and chambers of commerce. The main objective of the forum was to help strengthen collaboration and connectivity among the Sri Lankan business community in Australia, as well as their counterparts in Sri Lanka. CA President Sanjay Bandara explained in depth the crucial role that CA Sri Lanka plays as a national accounting body with its stakeholders, which include members, students, regulators, the government and the general public. The forum also featured a panel discussion with the participation of some leading private sector enterprise representatives from Sri Lanka. Natami Ami, a movie directed by Devinda Kongage, has been released to cinema theatres as an interim show, and it will be running in selected cinema halls throughout the country. The premiere for the film was held with the participation of the cast and the media in the Colombo recently. This movie is the third movie done by the director, the previous two films being Kirivasipura and the award-winning film Baba Tarana. The film is produced by Kaputa Cinema in collaboration with Kaputa TV, which is an online platform for Sri Lanka movie enthusiasts. According to the director, the movie is a socio-political drama which aims to convey the vital role of money in the lives of everyday Sri Lankans. The story revolves around a young boy named Sundev with a poor economic background whose life takes a turn after unexpected events and how he is forced to confront the harsh realities of life. The shooting activity of the movie commenced during the COVID pandemic in the year 2021. Mariam Vijayaratne, who plays a major role in the movie, says that Natami Ami will give the viewers an entirely new perspective on life. Debutant film actress Mariam found time to speak to the State of Business that said that the movie Natami Ami would be a fresh experience for the cinema lovers.
I play the role of Sumeda, the wife of Cyril, who has her own principles and who is high in integrity. So I don't want to talk about the movie. It's obviously about Natamis, who does a prominent service to keep our social system going on. Special thank you to the entire crew because it was not easy shooting this film. It was during COVID we had shootings and they did a super duper job. So I would like to invite the entire general public to come and watch this movie when it's released with your entire family. It will actually give you a new value to life and you will think differently from there onwards.
Stay tuned for the stock update.
Connect with SLT Rainbow Pages, your true local search.
Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today. The all-share price index dropped 20.15 points to close at 8,746.45, and the S&P SL20 dropped 12.01 points to close at 2,477.87. The turnover was 0.4 billion rupees and over 25 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today, and this and more, subscribe our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.